This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, Heather Ho, there's Jeff Cutter, and welcome to another Sports Catastrophe birthday boy. And the birthday for today, March the 16th, is a legend in Cleveland and Baltimore. And of course, as everyone knows, Cleveland Browns were the team before Baltimore took over the franchise and all that. He was a tight end legend for Cleveland before becoming exec, who is still the second vice president of player personnel for the Ravens ever since 1996 when the Ravens had the team from Cleveland. He's in the College Football Hall of Fame since 94 and the Pro Football Hall of Fame since 99. He was the GM of the Ravens from 96 to 2018, but is basically behind the scenes. His name, Ozzie Newsome, who's now 67 years old. Ozzie Newsome played for Alabama for 4 years. Do you know how Alabama were in the 70s? Great. He helped Alabama win 42 games in his 4 seasons and all that. And for 20 years, his average yards per catch, 20.3, were actually an SEC conference record. He was a two-time SEC player in 76 and 77 and was named Lineman of the Year in 1977 by the Birmingham Quarterback Club. And was inducted to the College Football Hall of Fame and all that. Basically, Ozzie Newsome, according to Bear Bryant, said he was the greatest end in Alabama history, and that includes Don Hudson, who was an iconic pass catcher way back in the day. A total team player, fine blocker, outstanding leader, great receiver with concentration, speed, and hands. Ozzie was drafted in the first round of the 1978 NFL draft by the Cleveland Browns. So Cleveland picked him up 23rd. So as a tight end, he was not the first tight end, he was the second tight end. San Francisco took Ken McAfee from Notre Dame. Not a bad idea by San Fran. You know, of course, the 1978 draft known for Earl Campbell, Wes Chandler, Clay Matthews Sr., and John Jefferson. So Ozzie Newsome was looking good. And Newsome was not the first Alabama player taken. He was the second after his teammate Bob Crider, a guard, was taken by the Pats, 18th overall. So Cleveland, the Bears actually had that pick, but the Browns got it. So Cleveland got him. He was the star offensive player for the Browns in his rookie year. And well, the Browns' offensive player of the year, his rookie year, the first time in 25 years a rookie had that honor. Newsome got to 3 Pro Bowls in the 80s. He was an icon. He actually caught 191 yards in one game, which was the franchise record till Josh Gordon did that with 237 yards. And this guy's a tight end, mind you. So yeah, so he won the NFL Man of the Year award for his community service in 1990. In Newsome's career from 1978 to 1990, he went to 7 playoff appearances, 3 trips to the AFC title game, no titles. And yes, he was the tight end when Cleveland lost in order. The drive, the fumble, and the game that should have ended in Cleveland's misery, the 1990 AFC title game. But anyway, his record was huge. He had 662 receptions for almost 8,000 yards with Cleveland. Cleveland franchise records at the time. I don't know if they're still there. I think they are. But anyway, Newsome retired as a player in 1990, became a scout with the Browns. Then he became assistant to the head coach for pro personnel, and then the director of pro personnel for Cleveland in their final 2 years before moving to Baltimore. He would become the executive vice president of player personnel in 96 to 2001, and then he was named GM in 02, and for 16 years he was GM, and then now he's the executive vice president and player personnel. So yeah, he was named the first GM of the Ravens. The Ravens didn't have a GM. I guess he kind of was a GM, but not a GM, if you will. But anyway, he became the first African American to be a GM in the NFL. I'm surprised nobody beat Ozzie Newsome to that mark. Newsome has had 2 Super Bowl rings as a football executive. First after Super Bowl 35 in 2001 and Super Bowl 47 in 2013. So after February 2018, he stepped down as GM and Eric DaCosta became the new GM. Newsome was still employed by the Ravens in an active and significant role as executive vice president of the Ravens. In fact, he was given the Eagle Award by the U.S. Sports Academy for significant contributions to international sport, and is the Ring of Honor for the Cleveland Browns in 2010. Obviously, you know, the whole convoluted history with the Cleveland Browns is that they moved to Baltimore, but they were allowed to keep their records and all that for a new Cleveland team to be expansion team in '99, which meant that Cleveland was quote unquote inactive for 3 years and the Ravens were an expansion team. Kind of weird, but anyway, Ozzie Newsome was just that great. And, you know, Cleveland loved him. Ozzie had some great moments when he was talking on the NFL network about the 95 Cleveland Browns in what was that show? A Football Life in the 1995 Cleveland Browns. He had a key role in it. And he was good in that role. And, you know, he was good for the Ravens and all that. I don't hate Ozzie Newsome and all that for the Ravens stuff. It's got to be Arden Bodell for God's sake. But anyway, yeah, he gelled with his team. And he's a Cleveland Brown legend, so what's there to lose? Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.